All right, we're doing a bit of a restart. So if you were just on live with me, I'm going to get started over again. Sorry, I meant to put in my earbuds. Thank you to my husband for letting me know that the sound wasn't good. Always let me know in the comments if something's not right and you're not hearing me. Okay, day 4 of embodied radiance activations today. And I'm coming on to talk about one of my very favorite topics, which is about women's pleasure. And it's one of my favorite topics because at one point in my life, not so long ago, pleasure was not a part of my life at all. I was in a relationship that we no longer had sexual intimacy for the last years, even though it wasn't my choice, it was his. And I had gotten to the point in the relationship of feeling so rejected, so made wrong for having desires from my body that I ended up suppressing them big time. I cheated on my partner. I would self-pleasure in secret. I would feel like it was something that I had to hide. So for me, coming from where I was, Asian upbringing, yogic spiritual bypassing, to now teaching about women's pleasure as one of the key pillars of my work is a huge journey. So if you're a woman, or a man for that matter, who's listening right now and feel like, wow, pleasure is so far away, or like I never learned about sex, like I never got proper education, then you're really in the right place in this conversation. And I'm going to share a few really juicy tidbits about women's pleasure. Men who are listening, this is for you too, because if you're ever with a female partner, she's going to love this. And for women, there is nothing more empowering than learning how to come home to your body, to know how to give yourself pleasure, and to be able to express that, to ask for what you want, to be able to express your boundaries, and maybe even teach your partner, lover, whoever, friend, sister, you know, how she may be able to support you in accessing more of your pleasure. Now, I say sister, and for some of you, you might be like, what is Alice talking about? Like pleasure from your sister? So what I mean by that is that women with women is one of the most beautiful healing spaces I've ever been in. Yesterday at my home, where I am right now in Zurich, we just held the one-day Yoni Temple retreat, which is absolutely gorgeous. And I had women in here. We had 12 women. Some of them had been in sexless marriages like myself. Some of them had come from highly conditioned religious backgrounds where making love was not even called making love, but you only did it for babies. It was never for pleasure. And once you made your babies, then you would stop. We had women who came from backgrounds with sexual abuse, women who've been raped, and then women who just simply wanted to learn more about their pleasure because they had never really had a safe enough and warm, welcoming, inspiring, joyful place to learn about their pleasure. And let me tell you, what happened yesterday, what happens every single time I do this with women, without exception, is truly miracles happen. Miracles happen when you connect with your own body. And when we go slow enough to be able to deeply listen. And we go slow enough with enough care and presence that anything that wants or needs to be felt through the body, which includes pleasure, ecstasy, orgasmic bliss, it also includes pain, sadness, disappointment, anything else that's held in the body. We open up the full range for everything to be felt. And when we do that, sisters, like this is where your orgasmic capacity starts to expand. Because if you want to be able to feel joy and bliss, you got to be able to feel it all. But first things first, you have to be able to feel something. So pleasure mapping, which is the practice that I'm going to share about today, is one of my favorite ways to do this. Traditionally in sex and lovemaking, most of the time we've just learned how to do this by seeing something on pornography, or by hearing about it, or by talking to our friends and kind of like fumbling around to learn about it. But rarely are there spaces where the sacredness of sexuality is taught, but also just pure like scientific facts about your anatomy as well. So inside Yoni Temple, as well as inside my online course called Nectar, We actually walk you through step by step in all of these parts. Now, the first step in learning to connect to your own sexuality as well as pleasure mapping is to bring full, undivided presence and love to every single part of your body. And if you're working with the vulva, which is the outside of your genitals, the vagina is the inside, you want to be able to bring your full loving presence there, because many of us have never experienced this quality of care where there's no goal, there's no achievement of having to finish or complete or pleasure someone else. There's no need in this moment when you're mapping yourself or a partner that there's reciprocity that now you received, and gosh, you're looking at the time thinking, oh, maybe it's my time to give, like when shouldn't I do that? No, it is a set time for you to bring the presence of either energetic touch, which is hovering off of the body, or physical touch onto the body, with different kinds of ways where you can really expand sensitivity into the tissues. And when you do this, and I'll teach you a few different ways that you can explore this, please pray for me that the Instagram gods don't censor me for this. What happens then is you start to create neural pathways that connect your body and your pleasure with your brain. And for any woman who has ever dissociated, meaning that you've come out of your body at some point because maybe it wasn't safe enough, or it wasn't pleasurable, or your boundaries were crossed, or you didn't have the capacity to stay fully present in your body while you were having an experience, this is really for you. It's also for the woman who just simply, like for myself, I didn't have any like big, huge traumas. I had a few moments of boundaries being crossed. But I just simply had areas of my body that I had that had never seen the light of day, like never been touched, that I wasn't even aware that I had. So I'm going to share a few of these with you. All right. So first step, or actually, you know what? I'm going to share with you a few juicy things about your anatomy. And then at the end, I'm going to share a guide, which you can download for free. You can actually even just pop it in here. You can just write connect. Connect, the word connect, and I'll send you the free guide, which is how to connect with your feminine pleasure. I'll share that with you at the end. But first things first, a few juicy things about your anatomy. I always thought that the clitoris was just this little tip that you see on the outside of your body. But no, it is not. First of all, this miracle of a point in your body, which is like so tiny from the outside, actually has 10,000 nerve endings. 10,000. That is so many nerve endings. And yet so much of the time when we're stimulating in that area of the body, it's fast, it's quick. Yeah, it's like almost too much. But with that amount of nerve endings and a heightened sensitivity, all you need is a feather light finger of touch right onto the tip. Full awareness, full breath. And what you may be able to feel can be absolutely ecstatic. Some women feel like electrical pulses through your body. Some women feel just waves of pleasure. Some women are just like, wow, I can't believe that actually I can feel so much without any friction. So that's one thing that you can try. The body of the clitoris actually looks a bit like a penguin. So it goes like the tip, and then it goes up and then down. And so it actually has legs. It goes all the way down inside the bones. And you should, not should, sometimes you can feel them, but they're really tricky, almost like this little thin rope. But the legs are also part of your pleasure system, and everything when you're aroused engorges, ladies, up to 4 times its size. When it fills up with fluid and blood and energy, your whole body expands. So that's super cool. that's one thing. The next thing I want to share is about about the G-spot. So I always giggle at this because I was born in the early 80s, so I was raised on like Cosmopolitan magazine to figure out all of the things that I needed to learn when I was a teenager about stuff like this. And I remember in the magazines them talking about this elusive G-spot. Like, it's so pleasurable. You must find it, and then they would say, like, you have to go in, like inside, and then like a little bit to the left, and then a little bit up, and then you hook around the corner, and then you do this. And it made it sound like it was such a mystery. Like you had to like have a map to try and figure out, or a guidebook, or like, I don't know, GPS or something to try and find your G-spot. It's really not that difficult. Your G-spot is actually just inside. And if you go like this come here finger movement, you'll notice that there is a spongy tissue. It's more ribbed, almost like a morel mushroom. And that ribbed tissue can be highly pleasurable. So that's another spot to explore. And I'm going to share one more. I could talk about this for days. So I'm going to share one more to keep it short and potent so that you can do a little bit of discovery on your own. The next one is the labia. So labia, you've got the outer labia, outer lips, inner lips. And the inner lips are so gorgeous. If anybody ever out here feels that your lips are not absolutely exquisite the way they are, please send me a message. Let's have a chat, because every woman's is so unique. Sometimes I refer to the yoni as like everyone has a unique yoni print, just like a fingerprint. Yeah, no yoni is the same, even though often what we see in mainstream media is like only a few different forms. It's not true. Everybody has such different, beautiful shapes, and they're all like unique flowers that blossom. So the inner lips are like the blossoming petals of the yoni. And I had no idea how much pleasure and sensation there could be in the surface area of the lips. So what you can do is, I have this funny analogy, like, when you go to the grocery store and you see, like, I don't know, these apples that look fantastic, and you're like, okay, I got to go grab a produce bag put these apples in my bag. You grab this produce bag and you're like going like this, and you're trying to get this bag open so that you can put the apples in. So this motion that you do with the bag, next time you grocery shop, think about this, have a little smile, and you go like this. This is the motion that you can do on the inner lips. And you can also pull and tug them a little bit. It can be so fabulous, so delicious, so juicy. It's, absolutely delicious. So these are some of the ways. These are just 3 spots on your sacred anatomy that you can map to bring more awareness, presence, sensation to this area, more pleasure. Now, one thing is that if you want to explore this practice on your own or with a partner, just know that today I talked a lot about how you might be able to feel different sensations. But the thing is that every single woman is different. And just like the room of women that I had yesterday who were exploring this both on their own or with a partner, they were saying like, wow, some women felt more than they ever imagined that they could. And other women were like, oh, I feel really numb, or like disconnected, or I can't really feel that. And if you have this experience, just know that that's totally valid. First, because it's the experience you're having, so it's valid. But secondly, sometimes when we just have never felt something somewhere before, we just don't have this mapped yet. Like the brain and the body haven't made that connection point. Another thing is if you've overstimulated a certain area, you can end up feeling more numb. And then we need to just slow down so that you can resensitize that area. So that could also be possible. Let go of any result when you do yoni mapping, results, expectations, goals. Let them go. They're so counterproductive for the practice of mapping, which is really simply to bring presence, energetic or physical touch to every part of your sacred anatomy. So there you go. Again, I can go on for ages about this. So if you want to learn more about this, make sure that you send me a DM. Just like any questions you have, you can even pop them into the chat right now. I'd love to respond to some questions if you have any. Those of you who are playing along with the 14 days of radiance, if you comment with your greatest takeaway on every single one of these lives for 14 days, you're going to learn so much, first of all. And then second of all, you'll be entered into a draw for a free ticket to my Radiance Retreat, April 28th, live in person in Calgary. Or you can also choose a one-on-one coaching session with yours truly. So make sure that you do that. Okay, last piece for today, and something that you can take home with you as well, is if you want my free guide on the very first step, the very first thing that I do in a yoni mapping experience, then pop the word connect into the comments and I'll send you the link for my free guide to how to connect with your feminine energy. What you want to be able to do more than any skill or technique, any way of touch, is that you want to learn how to bring presence and to prioritize your pleasure and to deeply listen. And what that looks like is a practice that I do every morning when I wake up. It can be like literally a 10-second practice, or if it feels delicious and you've got more time in the morning, it can be so much longer. But even like a moment to start is so good. One hand to your heart, the other hand over top of your vulva, closing your eyes and taking a few deep breaths. There's more that I'll share in the guide, so if you want that, comment with the word connect. But for now, I just share this alone already starts to map the body, because you're saying, hi heart, hi yoni, here I am, good morning, this is my body, this is my breath, I'm going to breathe into here, and then you can even go and ask her, your yoni, is there anything she wants to know or wants you to know about her today? Or how is she feeling? Yeah, and sometimes you'll get like a whisper of something. Other times she'll be really quiet and shy. And other times she might be, well, let me tell you, this is what I want today. Who knows? But that is one beautiful, simple practice that you can start. It's a practice called cupping, which is absolutely exquisite. It's part of pleasure mapping. So again, make sure you comment the word connect. Make sure you grab your early bird ticket for Radiance Retreat in Calgary. And if you have any other questions, comments, takeaways, please pop them into the chat. And I would love to hear from you. So I'm just going to go real quick and see if there's any questions from today that you might want me to answer. Okay, no, I don't think so. So I'm here afterwards for anything that might come up. Feel free to send me a DM as well. And yeah, just send you so much love from this sunny, warm day in Zurich. Bye for now.